Howdy folks. In today's video, we'll attempt a DIY solution to address the issue with Subaru DCM module draining our battery to the point where the car will not start. And this becomes to be an issue where if you don't drive the car for a period of time, this DCM module, which is Subaru's data communication module, has essentially a parasitic draw over a period of time that it drains the battery. And it, in my theory, deep cycles the battery over a period of time to the point where it shortens the life of the battery. In this case, this battery is 2 years and 7 months old. It's an 800 cc battery. And this one, again, is starting to have some issues, again, due to, I suspect, it being a parasitic draw. I did a whole separate video on how to diagnose a parasitic draw if you have one, and if so, which led me to this video here, that it is the Subaru's DCM module. I'm not going to do the parasitic draw video because, again, like I said, I already did that. It's on my channel. You can look at it. In my case here, I'm going to show that, hey, even when the battery is charged, I'm going to prove that it is the DCM module that is appears to be causing the issue of drawing enough power where over a period of time, if you don't drive the car a lot, it will drain the battery, and as I said, in my opinion, deep cycles it to cause an issue. For transparency's sake, I will also say that about a year ago, I did receive a letter from Subaru that says, hey, we're extending the warranty for this issue, specifically because as 3G cell towers are being turned off, this module keeps looking for that signal, and that drains the battery. I did go to my dealership to try to address the specific issue with them. I showed them the letter from Subaru that says, hey, we'll cover this warranty extension. However, my dealership essentially told me to go pound sand. They don't care. In their view, you need an active Starlink subscription in order for them to troubleshoot this. And the reality, this module is going to look for the 3G signal regardless whether you have Starlink subscription or not. One thing that Subaru did state in their letter is that, hey, if you do have an active Starlink subscription, we'll also cover the reprogramming fees for the dealership to reprogram that unit. However, as I said, the way my dealership escalated it is to tell me to. They're not going to do anything. I did email one of their folks in the management, and then it didn't go further. They just don't want to diagnose it. So from my perspective, I'm never going to go to the Subaru dealership in Aurora, Colorado, but I will try to provide and do my own DIY solution. I know in theory I could have went to Subaru corporate and corporate would have told them to fix it and address it. However, would you really want somebody to work on your car under these circumstances? I just figured out I'll do my own DIY solution. So here's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is going to go ahead and point out and prove that it is the DCM module. On a 2016 Subaru Outback, it is fuse number 9, and every time I pull it, my parasitic draw drops considerably under 50 milliamps. And then anytime I put it back, we see that it's going to go above 50 milliamps, which is kind of the acceptable limits. It's going to go to 150, then eventually to almost 200, and then it's going to settle back down at about between 80 to 120 milliamps. It will go back down to about 56 milliamps, but it's not going to stay at 56 milliamps for too long. And the way we confirm that it is this DCM module is we do need to monitor it for a period of time. Just because it goes to this 199 milliamps once or twice, it does not necessarily mean that it is the DCM module, because as long as it goes back down relatively quickly, you're okay. As I said, in my case, it doesn't go back down quickly, and when it goes back down, it's going to go down to about 56 milliamps, maybe for a second or two, couple of seconds is going to go to that 30 or so milliamps, but it's not the ground where it's at. Most of the time, it's going to stay pretty high up in terms of the milliamp rating, and then it's going to go back down for a little bit, come back up. And I think this deep cycling of the battery over a period of time is what is shortening the lifespan of a car battery. So we're going to pull fuse number 9 on my car, and then, as I said, we're going to do it a couple of times over a period of time. When we're gonna put it back in, we're going to monitor that it settles down, and then we're going to monitor it after it settles down. How long does it settle down for? And in that case, see, does it go back up often? And as I said, in my specific case, when it settles down, it generally will settle down at about 56 or so milliamps oftentimes, and then go shoot back up within a minute or two, but It doesn't stay at that lower levels often. And then we're going to pull the fuse, and then anytime we pull the fuse, I never have those jumps. So this is one of the things that we need to monitor to confirm that, it is the DCM module and not something else that's sporadically spiking it up. And then, as I said, anytime I pull the DCM module, I'm between 29 and 36 milliamps. When the fuse for that DCM module is back in, that's where all of those spikes happen. When it goes back down, it's going to be back down very quickly and then goes right back up. And after doing this test multiple times, I essentially addressed this issue by pulling that fuse every single time and not seeing those sporadic jumps. So here's the issue. Every time we pull that fuse, what I've discovered is that it's not just affecting the DCM module. That fuse also controls one other aspect within your vehicle. However, what I read online is that it will impact other different model years differently for different folks. In my case, it's a 2016 Subaru Outback. So for me personally, initially, I did not think it affected me at all. And I thought, great, I'll just keep this fuse pulled. Well, unfortunately, the reality is once I was getting some calls, and I'm always hands-free driving, and we have the answer the call button, nobody could hear me. And then after a couple of calls, I realized that on a 2016 Subaru Outback, it also turns off your microphone. I kind of really like that feature. This was my first and only car that actually had A, button controls, and two, I actually have a voice control within a vehicle where I can actually have a hands-free call while driving when you need to accept a call when you're on your way. I did not want to lose that feature. So that is, in my case, that's why I started thinking of another DIY solution to address it, but yet not have the parasitic draw. For different other model years, I read online, some folks lose Bluetooth connectivity, some folks lose speakers. In my case, it appears to be Bluetooth worked successfully. Again, just no microphone, but the Bluetooth itself worked fine. My speakers appears to be working fine, but different model years may be impacting those items. You'll have to take a look at the back cover of your vehicle to see which DCM module linked to which fuse. In my case, DCM is fuse number 9. So in this case, I'm going to test from the negative battery terminal using a multimeter to the column where the fuses are at. And this is going just to confirm that, even when the car is turned off, this side on the right side is getting the power, which would indicate that this is a load and we're getting 12 volts here. And then on the left side, looks like it's going to show that it's getting like 1 volt or something. So it looks like 12 volts on the right is going to be the load side for the fuses, for the column of fuses here. On the top left, on this column here that I want to see if this one is always powered on. And it looks like when I check either of those sides, this is reading 0 volts, which indicates to me that this column only gets power when the vehicle is running. So the idea here is, can we create a circuit to the DCM fuse only when the car is running? Essentially do a bypass and to do a circuit only when the car is running. So using this add a fuse tap adapters, we're not going to put any fuses to the bottom of them because again, we're not connecting. We don't want them to be in this always on state. We're only going to have fuses at the very top of these. And then I'm going to have one at the DCM location and then one at the, I'm going to do on the left column. And then again, we're not going to keep it this way. We're only going to use this for testing, but we're going to see if we can add a circuit to only power the DCM module when the car is running. And we're going to do that test.
Weather conditions on Mars.
So we can see that using this method, our microphone works when the car is running. It is completing that circuit. And the next thing to do is to validate that the circuit is not having this parasitic draw when the car is not running. So I put my multimeter back in place and I'm going to reconnect those two fuses, this connection. And then as you can see, there is going to be no jump when I'm reconnecting those to add a power kind of, add an adapter wires, which is fantastic. This is exactly what we want to see. There is no extra jump. That means our circuit is only working when the car is running, which is what we want. Obviously, I can't measure this draw when the car is running. I'm going to fry my multimeter leads. They're not designed to be testing this when the car is running in this scenario. But for validating that there is no parasitic draw when the car is not running, we are able to prove that. Now we need to make this solution permanent so that we can actually not have all of these extra wires. We just need to connect it. And this is exactly what we're going to do right now. So there are going to be a couple of things that we need to do to those microfuse add a circuit or tap adapters. First, we need to shorten the wires because they're currently too long, and those two fuses are going to be relatively close to each other, so we don't need to keep those wires that long. I'm going to try to keep the sleeves on. I may not be able to use both of them just because the wires are shorter, and we may not have enough space to do that. We'll see here in just a second, but I'll try to keep them on. The second thing is that I'll need to change the microfuses from 10 amp to 7.5 amp because that DCM module is on a 7.5 amp fuse, so I don't want to keep the 10 ones in there. To connect those two wires, I'm going to use the waterproof heat shrink solder seal butt connector. They kind of have the solder already in it, so I can use a heat gun to complete this connection. We can obviously solder it on our own. We can use electrical tape if we have to. I prefer not to, but that could work as well. The idea here is to do it in line and connect those two wires so that the thickness doesn't go higher than the gauge of the actual wire, so that we have good solid connection. And then the butt connector goes right in line with this, and we're not creating anything extra. And in this case, this looks to be like a really good setup, and I like that. We're going to use the heat gun at this point, and then we'll be rotating this connection as we're going to be heating it, and we're looking for that centerpiece on the butt connector to actually heat shrink, which is going to be obvious, and then also the center part has to melt so that we have a good solid connection. So on the ends we have kind of this glue-ish or some sort of a sticky material. That's what does the heat shrink and then ensures that it is waterproof. That happens on the left and the right side. And then in the middle part we have a relatively low heat solder that will melt and keep this connection going. As we're doing this, the key here is to, once we turn this off, we need to let it cool down for a little bit and not just start yanking the wires, even though they will have resistance to it because, again, there's this glue on both ends. We do need to let the solder just cool down a little bit before start testing the connection. And again, as we're using it around the heat gun, make sure we're twisting it to make sure it is completely melted and ensuring that we have a good solder connection before we start pulling it apart. And now we put those micro tap adapters or add a circuit fuses in place with the 7.5 amp fuses in them. Again, they're at the very top, not the bottom section of those tap adapters. And we're gonna close the fuse cap, and then we're going to do one last test. Once the car is running, we're going to verify that everything is working.
Weather.
It's 67 degrees and cloudy in Aurora. There is currently a red flag, fire weather, warning in effect.
All right, so we made sure the microphone still works, and that's good. Obviously, when we turn off the car, the microphone will not work since the fuse is dependent on that circuit being on. So if we were in the middle of a call in that case and we arrived at the destination, when we turn off the car, we have to make sure to remember to change it back to the phone. Otherwise, if you keep the car in the accessory mode, that microphone will not work in this specific scenario, but that's okay. I feel like this is a good compromise. If you will be attempting a similar setup, please know that there are many different type of fuses and adapters out there. In our specific case here, those fuses are known as low profile mini fuses or low profile mini add a circuit adapters, but know that there are different sizes out there, so do make sure that you get the correct size for your setup. All right, I hope that this video was helpful and beneficial. Have a great day. Bye-bye.